It's your Frontier opening bell. Welcome everyone to the brand new business and market week across Africa. I am Bosin Omofai. Let's get the show started. Quick look at how the markets finished off last week. But if you look at the stock market in Egypt, where the EGX30 finished off a bit of a very soft side on Sunday. Of course, Egypt start its market week on Sunday, the start of the week. Egypt will be joining the rest of the continent today. The EGX30 down by 35 basis points. Take a look at the top of the table with Nigeria's stock market finishing much stronger, about 33 basis points on Friday, taking the market to 52,465. The market last week in Lagos had just 2 days of gains, but 2 days to start the week of a very heavy heating. Of course, this week we're looking at the Central Bank of Nigeria rolling over a few treasury papers at the primary market auction of NTB window. We saw liquidity last week in the banking sector, so overnight money finished off around 11.4% on Friday. Quite a very soft week to start the new month of March. A bit of maturities also repaid into the market, provided a bit of liquidity. So interbank lending were a little bit soft. Naira finished off a little bit not so harsh against the dollar. The BRVM was better by 17 basis points, 198.91, trying to find its way back, the composite to 200 reading. The Nairobi stock market was up 0.26%, a positive reading Friday after that brutal sell down we saw around the middle of the week and Thursday as well by some of the big names on the market in Kenya. 104.47. Nairobi is still well below his year high in the manner of speaking as far as the composite was concerned. The GSE finished very strongly on the back of the advanced and emerging markets, making a very big jump on Friday after we saw 2 interest rate hikes last week by the US Fed as well as the European Central Bank, and the market's reaction to that, as well as a decline in oil prices, as we saw both Brent and the US West Texas Intermediate down about 7% for the week just behind us. They started making a bit of a recovery Thursday, Friday, but that was too late for the market that was very brutish to start the week. We're looking ahead at what the OPEC Plus decision will be next month when the body meets again. Let's take that down. Take a look at what the big stories in the East African corridor, where the German Chancellor Olaf Scholz is doing a 3-day visit to both Ethiopia and Kenya. The German Chancellor leader is the latest of big names around the world, big economies coming to the African continent, from China to the United States to Russia as well as China. Now, the French Chancellor is joining the team, including, of course, the Emmanuel Macron of France. So Africa is where everyone's piling in now, looking for deals, as we say, the geopolitics around the world getting a little bit much stronger than anyone ever thought. But let's look at the Kenya's central bank approving Cactus Cantina's investment takeover, 55.8% of that microfinance bank, Mesha Microfinance Bank. That was approved late last week. EcoBank of Kenya, as well as Fingo Africa, announced on Friday that they've launched the digital-only bank in Kenya, East Africa's largest economy, while MTN Rwanda says its profits slumped 31% in the first quarter of the year and lost a bit of its market share. And Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed of Ethiopia has formally unveiled with the rest of his government officials Ethiopian Skylight, the biggest hotel in Africa, 1,024 rooms, and that brings tourism to the doorstep of this big economy, the Horn of Africa. Let's step into West Africa and see what's in the headlines this Monday morning, the 8th of May. Nigeria is hosting, as we speak, right at a Transcorp Hilton Hotel in Abuja, Nigeria's political capital, the 2023 annual general meeting and conference of Shelter Afrique. Nigeria is the second largest shareholder of Shelter Afrique, which is headquartered in Nairobi, Kenya. Today, we'll be hearing from the managing director, the top executives of Shelter Afrique, as well as the host minister, Babatunde Raji Fashola, who is Nigeria's Honorable Minister for Works and Housing. Shelter Afrique is that Pan-African housing institution, finance institution that is subscribed to by a number of African sovereigns, is owned by them. So that's the big story. But again, we've got to follow this 3-day event for you happening right at Hilton Hotel here. Airtel, MTN, Glo, and 9 Mobile, 4 of Nigeria's largest telcos, They're working together, according to news sources, to provide a single code that will allow subscribers across these four telcos to do data recharge, to recharge airtime, and do everything without using different codes. It's been worked together and been put before the regulator, the NCC, to provide a single code that makes it easy for everyone to remember just one code to do all your transactions and everything across all these four platforms. That is going to be a very game changer. And Nestle Nigeria's earnings beating some of his colleagues in the consumer goods space, such as PZ Cuisines and a few others, including folks in the brewery sector, Nigerian breweries, international breweries, and others who were reporting downside in the first 3 months of this year. Nestle Nigeria, the biggest food company, reporting earnings profit 128 billion. That's 16% plus for the top line figure, and profit also came in decently. And Airtel Nigeria has a new CEO. Carl Cruz is the new managing director. He was brought in from Airtel, the telecom company, where he's an executive director that is going to head Airtel Nigeria moving forward. We expect Airtel Nigeria to make the forward announcement, perhaps bring Carl to the market trading floor in Lagos anytime soon. And Benin Republic says last week that it was able to collect about 38.5 billion CFA franc from the West African Monetary Union financial markets in West Africa for French-speaking countries. That's all for now from West Africa. Let's see what the Southern Africa top stories are looking like this morning. South Africa is looking to revamp regulations for its financial institutions in line with its peers. Globally speaking, South Africa wants to prevent what's happening to regional banks in the U.S. right now. So the SARB and others are looking together, the FSA are looking together to see what can be done to make sure that South African banks are strong and resilient. And Alex Forbes says he's bought 60% stake in South Africa's Insurance Administration Services, the TSA administration. And the RZM Moldova Diamond, or in Zimbabwe, says its production of diamonds surged about 3% for the full year 2022. Angola is Africa's largest oil producer. Well, sometimes between Nigeria and Angola, sometimes it just go down and on up. So who's number one, who's number two? So you got to keep that in mind. But Angola, one of Africa's largest oil producers, forecasting that its GDP will be around 3.6% over the next 5 years, and that's according to the minister in charge of the economy. And Zambian President Hichilema is touching down this week on Wednesday in France. He's going to be having meetings with President Emmanuel Macron and the rest of his team, as well as private sector institutions, to look at the issue of for debt forgiveness and debt restructuring for Zambia. Zambia has been in the waiting for almost a year or more since President Hichilema took office, looking for that G20 framework under the IMF. Now, it looks like Zambia cannot wait any longer. The president is now off to France to meet the creditors right on their home front. Let's get down to North Africa, where it all started with Egypt looking to raise subsidized commodity prices as part of the inflation moderating in the North Africa's biggest economy. In the meantime, Egyptian electricity company and Norwegian Scatec says they're signing a memorandum of understanding to explore electricity connection through the grid to Europe from Egypt, and that deal is being worked out. Morocco's Foodex, German Agriculture Office, are signing a cooperative deal to help Morocco have what we call food sustainability, while Tunisia, the IMF says the country under President Said is close to a deal for that $1.9 billion resource package that's been on the table for quite some time. It's been a bit of one step forward, two steps backward between the IMF team as well as President Said in terms of political environment and reforms in the North Africa's economy so far, but it looks like a deal is about to be reached. Not too long ago, President Said of Tunisia says the country will look inward and will be rejecting the conditions of this package from the IMF, but looks like some talks have been held and a deal could be on the table anytime soon. And that's your Frontier Opening Bell this Monday, the 8th of May. I am Bosin Amafai. Do have a great day, everyone, and make sure you have a profitable day as well. You can watch the show again, as well as all our shows, and go up on our website. You can subscribe on our Frontier Africa Reports on our YouTube. All our shows are free. You can read up our content as well as those that we curate. Follow us on social media as well. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.